Over the last 24 hours, Nebraska fans have started a huge movement on the internet. They want Ed Foley, the special teams coordinator for the Huskers, gone, effective immediately. So in today's video, I'm going to go over everything you need to know. Should Ed Foley be fired? Will he be fired? And everything else. So really quick, we have a lot to talk about in today's video. Hey, if you're just happy about being 4-1, I know I am, hit that like button. And hey, if you're new to the channel or it's a returning viewer, make sure to subscribe. I post daily Nebraska football content. Nobody else on Husker YouTube does that. So make sure to subscribe if you're a diehard fan. You will not regret it. But without further ado, let's get into it. Talking about this situation, a lot of Husker fans are calling for Ed Foley after another special teams failure yesterday versus the Purdue Boilermakers. So this is a movement that honestly started up last year. A lot of people were not happy with the special teams under Ed Foley. That has only started to pick up traction this year, where time and time again, we can't kick field goals. We can't do anything. And as of yesterday, on Twitter, on Instagram, on message boards, you see one common theme. Ed Foley needs to go. First things first, will it happen? No, it will not happen. Matt Rhule said time and time again he does not fire. First off, he doesn't fire, period. He doesn't fire guys. And a lot of people wanted Marcus Satterfield fired last year, and Matt Rhule said during the offseason that he just doesn't fire people. Now, you will take with that what you will. I don't personally think that's the best trait. I think at times you need to fire people when they're not doing their job. But Matt Rhule said he doesn't fire guys, especially in the middle of the year. So that's number one. Matt Rhule is not going to fire Ed Foley, so don't get your hopes up. But should he fire Ed Foley? Okay, should he? Is Ed Foley doing that bad of a job that he should make this move? So my opinion, personally, I'm not a huge fan of getting rid of coaches midseason. But when the special teams has been as bad as they are, things might have to change. And it's not like this is a one-year issue. Again, this happened last year. Our kicking situation was horrible last year. Okay, it's horrible once again this year. Okay, not only is our kicking situation bad, we don't have a long snapper. Our punt coverage is awful. Our gunners cannot go down the field and tackle the punt returner, or they can't even down a punt correctly. Okay, yesterday, Brian Buschini had a bullet right to the 1-yard line, and our gunner was in the end zone, and it ended up being a touchback. Okay, so again, there's just special teams issues all over the place, and it's happening for the second year in a row. And I think Ed Foley is honestly, I think he gives us value as a coach, okay, especially in the recruiting game. So if Ed Foley, is no longer a special teams coordinator, I actually still want him to be with the team, maybe as an analyst, because I think he gives you value in other positions and other in recruiting tactics. But he has been so grossly incompetent when it comes to being our special teams coach. I'm just going to call it like it is. And there's two types of fans. When things are going bad, some fans blame the players, some fans blame the coaches. I am more likely, I'm going to tell you what I believe, I'm more likely to blame the coaches because the coaches are the adults. The coaches are the ones getting paid millions and hundreds of thousands of dollars to be here. Okay, Matt Rhule's getting paid $9 million to be here. Ed Foley's getting paid $500,000 a year to be here. It's likely more than every single one of you guys make. So we hold them to a high standard. These kids are getting paid, yeah, but they're not getting paid that type of money. So I'm more likely to blame the coaching staff because they're getting paid big bucks to do their job. Ed Foley hasn't done his job. He hasn't done his job. It's been horrendous. And it's not getting better. The kicking situation is not getting better. What were we doing in the offseason? Chasing three was the whole message, right? But we weren't kicking field goals, I guess. We knew we had a kicking issue last year, and we didn't get a transfer. Alabama had a kicking issue last year. Or they had a kicker who was no longer going to be with the program. They had an issue. What did they do? They got a transfer from Miami of Ohio. They got a transfer from the MAC. Okay. USC got a transfer kicker from last year. Indiana got a transfer kicker from last year. Okay, this isn't some foreign topic. Michigan got a transfer kicker from last year. All of them had kicking issues, and they figured it out. We did not get a kicker transfer. Instead, we got a guy from the JUCO ranks named John Hull, who never actually played a snap in JUCO because he wasn't even good enough to start there. And what do we know? He sucks. What a shocker. Again, it's just a bunch of we just mismanaged this entire situation entirely. And it boggles the mind. It boggles the mind how we don't have a player on the roster who can long snap a football. It's not the hardest position in the world. It really isn't. You really only have one job. it boggles the mind. So yes, that falls on the coaching staff. So will he be fired? No. Should he be fired? Probably. Do I think it's going to get better throughout the season? No. Because it hasn't got better. Who am I to believe it's going to get better? Who are you to believe it's going to get better if it hasn't so far? So a lot of Nebraska fans are pretty adamant about this. Okay, and I'm not really on that train. Like, I'm not pushing for Ed Foley to get fired like a lot of people are. But I know where they're coming from because it's been really, really bad from a coach who's already kind of on the hot seat. And we had these concerns going into the year, and he hasn't proved up to it. It is concerning. The ball is in your court, Matt. The ball's in your court. Will he? Well, I mean, he's not going to fire him. We know this. We know this. But here's the real question. If the kicking situation continues like it is, if the special teams continues to be terrible, if the long snapping continues to be terrible throughout the course of the year, will Matt Rhule fire him when the year is over or just move him down to a different role? I'll tell you this. I'm going to be incredibly disappointed with Matt Rhule if he doesn't. Because we can't keep doing this. We can't keep doing this. Okay, there has to be accountability for bad coaching mistakes. Okay, and bad development. There has to be accountability. Okay, that's at the premises of everything that college football does. Okay, there has to be accountability for when coaches don't do their job. Okay, and if there's no accountability, because you know who, there was a coach at Nebraska one time who had no accountability for his coaching staff, and he never fired anybody. You want to know who that coach was? Scott Frost. How did that turn out? Scott Frost never fired anybody. He kept his buddies around until he was forced to fire them. So look what's going to happen here if Matt Rhule doesn't fire a couple of these guys, right? I'm not calling for anybody to be fired. I'm just saying if this issue persists, we've got to make that move because we've seen this story before. Again, Scott Frost didn't fire anybody when he was here until the very, very end, and it was already too late. We can't do this song and dance again. So Ed Foley, our special teams coach, really, really poor performance so far this year. Again, Nebraska fans will overreact at times. I agree. Okay, and again, I'm not on this train. I'm usually not on the train of firing coaches mid-season. I think it's dumb. I don't really believe it gives us too much purpose. But I'm going to say one thing. Matt Rhule made a mistake when he got hired here because he had a great special teams coordinator currently on the staff in Bill Busch. And Bill Busch is still living in Lincoln, by the way, guys. And he said, no, Bill Busch, I don't want to hire you. I'm going to hire my guy, Ed Foley, and you're going to go to the street. That was a bad move by Matt Rhule. No question about it. No question about it. There's no debating it. Okay, you could sit here and be a big, Matt Rhule truther, and I love Matt Rhule. Again, I end every single one of my videos with "Go Matt Rhule," but that was a mistake by Matt Rhule. He'll probably admit to it at some point in time, but he had a great coach already at Nebraska when he was hired here, and he decided, no, you can walk. That was a miss. All right, guys, let me know. What are your thoughts around the Ed Foley situation? Should we fire him? Should we not? Let me know in the comment section. Hey, if you made this far in the video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And as always, folks, go Big Red, go Matt Rhule, and see you in the next one.